I think even the most adamant Marvel fan would admit that Marvel has been struggling as of late, especially since Endgame in their movie and TV side. And Marvel has basically come out and admitted as such in saying that they are going to change their approach to TV and movies. And even with the new Captain America movie, doing multiple reshoots that has made that a budget for that movie approach $400 million to try and right the ship. Well, today we have a story out of the Hollywood Reporter, which is a little bit of a shocker, and that the Russo brothers are in talks to direct the next two Avengers movies. So we're going to talk about that in this article. So hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic. Like I said here, we have an article about the Russo brothers in talks to direct the next two Avengers movies. Now, if you're not familiar with who the Russo brothers are, they directed Infinity War and Endgame, and my favorite MCU movie, Captain America Winter Soldier. I'm a huge Captain America fan, and I love that. Is still my favorite MCU movie of all time. I will rewatch that one all the time. I love it. So on its face, this is interesting because I think the Russo brothers have done some really good work, and we'll go into maybe some details here. So just when you and the Russos themselves, quite frankly, thought they were out, Kevin Feige is pulling them back in. The Russo brothers are in early talks to return to Marvel Studios to direct not just one, but the next two Avengers movies, sources tell the Hollywood Reporter. The hiring ends a month-long high-stakes search by the studio for filmmakers to oversee the fifth and sixth Avengers movies, and multiple names were in contention, including Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy, who was offered the gig, and sources say the talks are in the early stages. The move also marks a homecoming for the Russos, who jumped from the world of TV comedy on shows like Arrested Development and Community to blockbuster movies a decade ago with Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And in total, they directed four of Marvel's biggest and best regarded movies, going on the helm of Captain America: Civil War, Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. And combined, their Marvel films grossed $6.681 billion, with Endgame standing as the number 2 movie of all time globally with $2.79 billion. That is a lot of money on just a handful of movies. And I do like all this fact. I loved Arrested Development. That show was so far ahead of its time. I still love. Now, I don't like the extended one they did on Netflix, but the original show, the only 3 seasons, still a great show. It says in the years since, they've become mega producers via their AGBO banner, producing their Best Picture winner, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and pricey titles such as Amazon's Citadel and Netflix's Extraction movies. As directors, after becoming box office kings at Marvel, they stuck to streaming titles that did not reach the critical and cultural heights of their Marvel work, directing the Tom Holland crime drama Cherry for Apple and the big budget action movie The Gray Man at Netflix. They also directed the upcoming sci-fi adventure The Electric State for Netflix. The fifth Avengers movie was previously titled Avengers: The Kang Dynasty and was to star Jonathan Majors as time-traveling villain Kang, but Marvel cut ties with the actor after he was convicted of assault and harassment in December. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings director Destin Daniel Cretton was once attached to direct Kang Dynasty, but he departed a month before Major's conviction. The sixth Avengers film is Secret Wars, which is a storyline the Russos have long talked about wanting to adapt. So this isn't confirmed. This is seemingly they're in talks to do this. Now, the fact that this is being put out there makes me wonder if it comes from the Russo brothers, or maybe it's Kevin Feige, maybe one side or the other, trying to get the other one to, sign on to this. On its face, I do like this move because, again, you're talking about a pair of directors that have directed some of the best movies in the MCU, in my opinion. I think, obviously, Winter Soldier. I liked Civil War. I don't think it was as good as Winter Soldier, but I did like Civil War. Infinity War is a great movie. Endgame, as a lot of people have said before, has some issues when you really sit down and look at that movie. But at the time, it has some things that were enjoyable in the moment. But I think as time has gone on, it's kind of created some wrinkles in the MCU as a whole. But again, on its face, I like this. Now, the danger you run into this is it doesn't always work out when you bring back people that were once really good, even in the same series. For instance, I have some friends. I'm not a fan of Doctor Who, but I have some friends that are fans of Doctor Who, and they'll tell you a lot about how Russell T Davies coming back. At first, they were excited, and now they basically have quit watching that show. And there are numerous instances of people coming back and it just not being the same magic. I mean, it is a definitely possibility of, sometimes directors and writers lose their touch. Sometimes it's just things change. So on its face, And I'm not saying one way or the other with the Russo brothers. I haven't really watched many of those other movies that they have created lately. I did hear Everything Everywhere All at Once was good. I've heard of a few of the like Citadel and shows like that, but I haven't watched them myself, so I can't really speak to whether or not I think they were good or not. But potentially this would be a great move. And there are rumors out there as well as like Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Iron Man. If you're doing Secret Wars, you would have a lot of these characters coming back. So I think if they were in a role where they came back, you're able to get a lot of the, Robert Downey Jr. I mean, let's say you were able to get, Chris Evans back as Captain America. You're able to get Jeremy Renner maybe back and things like that. I think those movies would be, I guess you could call it jangling keys, but it would bring back people that, characters that people do love. I think that would be something that, Marvel would definitely want to do. So potentially this is out there. I think it would be a good move in the right direction considering past success, and we'll have to wait and see on how maybe who's writing these movies and how they end up being. And if it happens on its face, I like it. If it turns out that they come back and the movies aren't any good, I'm not going to like it. I don't know if that's a strong take. That's just kind of where I am right now on it. So that's going to do it for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel as we do lots of coverage of pop culture, theme parks, and more around here. Let us know in the comments. Do you like this idea of the Russo brothers coming back, or do you think they should just leave it alone and let their work stand on what they've already done? So until next time, we will see you guys later.